Joining me now, economy expert Rebecca Ryan. Rebecca, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Nicole.
So it just seems like every day these prices continue to go up. How likely are we to see them just continue to increase?
I think we might be hitting the peak of it. We pulled up some data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics that shows these peaks and valleys over time. And that's the first thing that I really want to point out to our viewers tonight is when you zoom out and you take the broad view, you can see how prices go down, they go up, they go down, they go up. Tonight we're reporting on up, but what goes up does come down. And the other thing that I want to point out is we know that the prices we were paying in the 5 years prior to the pandemic were some of the lowest that we had paid in any time. So we were really in a bit of a trough. There was room to grow from a price perspective. And now because people are returning to work, there's more money in their pockets from wages. There's that graph about what goes up goes down. You can see over time that we have had really moderate prices that we've been paying overall. I think we're probably peaking out on the prices, and they will come down again.
Well, we certainly hope that we're peaking out. You know, I know so many people would love to go back to, when the graph was low there. But Rebecca, what causes these large price jumps in really such a short amount of time? Or at least that's how it feels.
I think there are two things at play here. One is something that Marky mentioned in the prior segment, which is there's a little bit, I think, of panic buying. There's a lot in the media right now about inflation. And when people get spooked, they try to stock up at the current lower prices. I mean, think about the toilet roll situation we had prior to the pandemic. So I think that may be some of it. The other thing, though, that's happening is that people have a little bit more money to spend. And now think about what's happening. Everybody is being asked to go back to the office, to go back to the workplace. So they're having to put gas in their car, which means they're having to, I don't know if you're like me, but I went up a size during COVID. I've got to get some new clothes that I can be seen in. And so for all of these reasons, consumers are really starting to feel the effects of these increased prices as they're increasing their own demand.
Well, so Rebecca, how odd is it that we're seeing these spending increases on the non-essential items? Help us to understand that.
Yeah, you're making a really good point. I mean, what this really is too much money chasing too few goods. When I got my economics degree, that's what the definition of inflation was: too much money chasing too few goods. And what we still are suffering from are major supply chain issues. So as a futurist and economist, one of the things to watch, if you want to know when prices are going to go up again, one of the things to watch is when China shuts down. So right now, all of Shanghai is closed down, and that has a major effect on supply chains. And China has to have a zero COVID policy because their vaccination rates are really low. Their elderly population is very high. So when they have a COVID outbreak, things close. And when China sneezes, all of us catch that sort of metaphorical cold down the line.
Absolutely. All right, Rebecca, last question for you really quickly. Hopefully, of course, costs will eventually stabilize. We know that, when things come up, they will come down. Is there anything that you're expecting will just keep that high price tag?
I think some of the online sales are going to continue to see higher and higher price tags. I think the correspondent whom Marky had and saying that some of those online prices, we just can't stay in that forever. And there is more money in the economy right now. The final thing I just want to note is for people who are having a hard time right now, a $100 increase in rent, a $50 increase in their grocery bill, that really matters. So for those who have more, please continue to give more.
All right. Very good point, Rebecca. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.